Hello, my name is Jay and I'm a cinematographer, a photographer, a graphic designer, and a web designer, and a bunch of other stuff that just really doesn't matter. But today I want to be a teacher, and I want to teach you a technique that you can use to add to your bag of tricks. Because let's face it, the more tricks you have up your sleeve, the better prepared you can be, and the more open to creativity you can be. So I'm going to teach you how to do it, what you need to do it, so let's get to it. Today I'm going to go over freelensing, or also most commonly known as lens whacking. Now, you don't actually whack your lens on anything, you're not hurting your lens or hurting your camera body. Why it's called lens whacking, I honestly don't know. But today we're going to go over how to get that dream-like effect or that tilt shift look effect without having a tilt shift lens and without having to do anything in post. The less that you can do in post, the better. So let's begin. Here's what you need. You need a DSLR camera and a 50mm or shorter lens. The art of lens whacking is shooting with your lens detached from your camera body. First thing you want to do is take your lens and set it all the way to infinity. The best way to hold your lens is to have the lens between your thumb and index finger or middle finger and place the camera body on your palm, and then using your right hand to shoot or stabilize your shot. Now here comes the lens whacking part. You're set up and you're ready to go, but how do you lens whack? The thing about lens whacking is it's not going to feel very natural. It's going to be a little awkward, your lens is going to be all over the place, but practice makes perfect. The way that this technique works is if you have your lens detached, moving it closer to the sensor is going to make something further away in focus. Moving it further away from the sensor is actually going to make something closer in focus. And that's the great thing about lens whacking, is you can almost make this 50mm lens turn into a macro lens, simply by taking the lens and moving it further away from the sensor at a subject. One thing I would recommend, and it's completely up to you and what you're comfortable with when you're whacking your lens, is instead of looking through that tiny little viewfinder, is actually turning the LCD screen on the back and using that to stabilize your shot. So mess around with it, you can get some really cool light leaks and light flares coming in. It's got a crazy depth of field type of feel to it, so have some fun with it, practice it. Another great thing about lens whacking is the cool tilt shift effect you can have without actually having a tilt shift lens. Tilt shift lenses are really expensive, so if you have a 50mm lens, you can turn that into a tilt shift lens. So if we just learned that if the lens is closer to the sensor, that the focal point will be further away, or if the lens is further away from the sensor, that the focal point will be closer, then we can apply this and make it a tilt shift type of look. Just by tilting your lens right or left, you'll be able to get that cool dual focus type of look that you can apply with video or photo, and it'll look like you have a tilt shift lens. Now, since your lens is detached, you don't have to worry about your f-stop. However, when it comes to shutter speed and ISO, you know what, that's just going to depend on the environment that you're in. So like I said, play around with it, practice it, it's going to take some time. Here are some commonly asked questions about lens whacking. Question number 1, can I only use a Canon lens with a Canon camera? No, your lens is detached. So since the lens is detached, you don't need an adapter or anything. So you can use a Nikon lens, or you can use a Zeiss lens that was built for a Nikon, but you have a Canon, so it doesn't really matter. Second question, can I use a zoom lens or a fisheye or a telephoto lens? Yes, you can, but it'll be very, very difficult because you're freelancing, your hand is basically stabilizing the shot. It's going to be very shaky and it's going to be very hard to focus on something because of the zoom, because of the way that that lens is made. So if you use a 50mm or less, you're going to have a better shot. Question number 3, can I do this in post? You can pretty much do anything you want in post. Open up Photoshop and you can add blur here, a lens flare, a light leak here. Same thing with video. Open up Final Cut and there you go. You can add whatever the heck you want. But the less that you can do in post, the better. The more you can do in camera, the less work you have to do in post. So why wouldn't you just try this? Question number 4, will this hurt my sensor? Because your sensor is exposed, obviously there's going to be some concern on whether or not some dust is going to get in there or rock's going to fly up or whatever. So one thing I would recommend is just be aware of your surroundings. If it's a windy day outside that you're shooting, it may not be the best day to whack your lens. There's also some products online that you can buy that's kind of like a little net or a cover to make sure that nothing gets in there while you're whacking your lens. For you wedding photographers and cinematographers, this is a really great technique to use to give it a dreamlike, almost surreal type of feel. And for all photographers in all genres, this is a really great technique to use just for creativity alone and make it unique to you. Because you know what? There are a lot of photographers out there and there's a lot of cinematographers out there, so you got to stand apart from them. So trying something new and mastering a new technique like this will definitely set you apart. So go out there, practice, have fun, and enjoy lens whacking.